These are words from the Canadian poet Archibald Lampman. And I don't know if you all, or any of you, are familiar with the beautiful singer María. So she has a lovely song, which is this poem set to music, and it's called Snow. White are the far-off hills, and white the fading forests grow. The wind dies out amongst the tides, and denser still the snow. A gathering weight on roof and tree falls down scarce audibly. The meadows and far-sheeted streams lie still without a sound, like some soft minister of dreams. The snowfall coats me around in wood and water, earth and air. A silence is everywhere, save when at lonely spells some farmer's sleigh is urged on, with rustling runner and sharp bells, swings idly and is gone. Or from the empty waste I hear a sound remote and clear, the barking of a dog. To cattle is sharply hewed, born, echoing from some wayside stall or barnyard far afield. Then all is silent, and the snow falls settling, soft and slow. The evening deepens and the gray folds closer around sky. The world seems so shrouded, so far away. Its noises sleep, and I, as secret as yon buried stream, plod dumbly on and dream. I dream. I dream. Almost 30 years ago, when my children were very small, we had celebrated a boisterous Christmas morning. I can't remember how many weeks the anticipation had been growing, not just for my children, but for their mother as well. And it was going to be a perfect day with all kinds of perfect things. And in the morning, you know, paper going everywhere and wrapping and twinkling lights and treats, and it was wonderful. And as the hours wound into the afternoon, I looked across the room at one point and I saw my son, who might have been 3 years old at that time, and he was curled up in a corner of a English stuffed easy chair, which is now in tatters, but at that time it still looked pretty good. And he was weeping, and he was weeping very quietly. So it wasn't one of those, I'm a little kid and I need help right now kind of. It was just quiet. And I'm pretty sure I went over to him and held him and maybe put him on my lap. I don't remember what I said, but I did ask him, what's going on? And he looked at me and his tears ran down his face and he said it didn't snow. We didn't have a white Christmas. And again, I don't remember what I said, but I remember how I felt. I wished above all things for that moment that I could somehow make it snow and make that special thing that was going to make that day special for him, make that happen, and of course, I couldn't. I hadn't really understood. I was not young in years, but I was young in parenthood, and I didn't really understand in ways that maybe I understand now, that wonder and that joy and that connection is not something that can be created for somebody else, even for a beloved child. In hindsight, I wish that, I'm sure I comforted or tried to comfort him as best I could, but in hindsight I wish I had the wisdom to simply hold the space for what he was feeling. It's hard not to expect or deeply want snow to happen on the day that, where every story, every part of the, whether it's a movie or a song or a cartoon or what, everything, right? These guys everywhere, right? Our religious ancestors, the transcendentalists, thought. Thoreau, I believe, called snow in one of his more flowery essays. They were all pretty flowery, but this one ranks pretty high on the floweriness scale. But he talked about snow being the floor of heaven. That's something special. Whether it's the fact that the way the molecules go, or whether, as Giles Whittell says in this incredible book that has everything you ever didn't realize you didn't know about snow, he says snow is like religion. It makes people act reverent and do stupid things. I'm paraphrasing. He also says that snow is the one thing on earth that can bring quiet to New York City. Also true. I remember a giant snowstorm in Philadelphia, I think it was in the late 80s. And from where I lived on the west side of the city, all the way down to the Delaware River, nothing was moving. The buses were just stopped. And it was gloriously quiet and spectacular. The story of Snowflake memory to me is a story of
I did buy so many of them for like just family and
immense
the friends
generosity.
having a baby that I would extract stuff.
The generosity that surrounds us in every moment.
All of my kids in my after school program right now are doing crafts based on book.
I know it's around me, but
So we're doing stuff like that, but hey, I would pause everything and change the coffee.
To just let it be real.
Wow.
I notice that I let it reach me. I think about this man in his 50s, he was in his early 60s, racing through excitedly through a snowstorm to see that one remarkable, extraordinarily beautiful snowflake would land on his black tray, so he could take a picture and share it. And share that wonder.
This one, it was
Make it for other people, but share it. I think of the generosity of his parents. Gave him the equivalent of what? 35 acres of land at age 17. With faith. Maybe. I'm pretty sure they didn't expect him to get rich or famous, like Thoreau was or some of the other ancestors. But maybe they just experienced the wonder of the gift that he wanted to share. That his love for this in itself was a generous gift, even if he never succeeded in taking a photograph, which at that point he certainly hadn't. In our faith tradition of Unitarian Universalism, we value reason, we value learning, we deeply value spiritual growth, which means many, many things at many times in our lives, but one of the things it means is to be open to what we don't know and can't understand. To be open at every moment. Not to stop being open to it at age 10 or 5. Or on the day when For the first time, you realized that there wasn't going to be a white Christmas. Or at 85, or whatever age, to be open and to allow, not only to allow that generosity and that mystery to connect to our hearts, to allow ourselves to connect to it. Not to put you on the spot, Toby, but your generosity in sharing Sunday after Sunday, generosity of sharing your excitement. So many of you who share your generosity in playing and learning new music and trying new things. It's so easy to take all of this for granted. It's so easy to take another Sunday for granted. I probably don't need me to say this, but I have been in love with snow and still am. Even after years of working in TV news, when the threat of a single snowflake sent thousands running to the supermarket because heaven forbid you run out of toilet paper and milk. As you await the first snowflake to fall. No judgment here. No judgment whatsoever. And my son loves snow as much as I do still. And if we happen to be together someplace where it snows, we suit up immediately and run out into the street or wherever we are to experience it because it might only last for 5 minutes, but heaven knows it's amazing. What was it, a week or two ago when there was maybe 20 minutes of flurries around here? My third floor apartment gave me an unimpeded view and I had really big windows. Seriously, it was a good thing there was nobody there because I was like, oh my God, it's snowing. I took a video, I sent it to both of my children. They're like, is that snow? I said, yes. Maybe in that respect, I recognize that sharing my wonder is enough. I'm trying to make it happen for others. So I wish for each of us, however this season plays itself out, I wish for us the gift of at least one time of pure, unadulterated wonder and mystery. Amen, dear ones, Ashe, and blessed be.